Imagine living a life dictated by ancient prophecy, shrouded in mystery, only to discover that everything you've been taught, every truth you've held dear, is, well, just a carefully constructed lie.
Yeah.
Today, we're peeling back layers of deception to understand a world turned upside down. We're diving into Jennifer L. Armentrout's compelling fantasy novel, From Blood and Ash.
It's a really fascinating narrative, and looking at your notes, all the research you've pulled together, it shows such an intricate universe.
Right.
So our mission today is basically to extract the most important bits of knowledge, explore the, complex lore, and try to uncover the surprising motivations of the characters.
Think of it as a shortcut for you, the listener.
Exactly, a shortcut to being well-informed about this captivating story without getting totally lost in the details. You should hopefully have some genuine aha moments.
Okay, let's get into it. We start with Penelope, or Poppy the Maiden. Her life, right from the beginning, it's one of just profound restriction, isolation.
Totally. She's chosen from birth for this sacred role, but the personal cost is immense. Her whole existence is meticulously controlled. There's this strict set of rules.
Never to be touched.
Never to be looked upon.
Never to be spoken to.
Never to experience pleasure. I mean, every single moment is about preparing for her ascension, this sacred ritual where she's supposed to become like a divine consort to the gods.
A path laid out with zero room for personal choice.
None at all.
That kind of pressure, that focus on ceremonial purity, it must create a huge internal conflict for her, right? How do the sources show her struggling with that?
Oh, it's absolutely central to her character. You see her really wrestling with the idea that her virginity defines her worth. She actually wonders, what would the gods do if I went to them no longer an actual maiden? But what's really powerful is that her desire isn't just about, physical stuff. It's more fundamental. It's about the right to make that choice, to have some control over her own body, her destiny. That's a huge theme.
And it gets even more complicated because she has this extraordinary gift, right? But it's forbidden.
Yes, she can sense and even ease the pain of others through touch. We see her using it secretly, like helping her guard Victor with his headaches.
But it's secret. And there's something strange about it, too, especially when she touches the ascended, these revered, godlike rulers.
Exactly. When she touches them, she feels nothing but vast emptiness. And that's not just a random detail. It really foreshadows something fundamental about them, hints that maybe they aren't what they appear to be. It makes you question things right away.
So even though she's in this sacred, very confined role, Poppy's got this rebellious streak, an urge for life.
Definitely. She secretly trains in combat with Victor. She dreams of fighting back the evil that took her family. It's not just fantasy. It's this deep need to reclaim some control.
And that rebellious spirit is key, isn't it? Because she actually acts on it.
She does. She defies her destiny. We see her sneaking out of the castle for these forbidden adventures, like going to the Red Pearl, which is described as a den of games.
Right. And her internal thoughts really capture that yearning. Tonight was about living, about not being up all night, unable to sleep, alone, and feeling like I had no control, no idea of who I was other than what I was. It's powerful stuff about identity.
Okay, so while Poppy's dealing with all that inside the castle, the world outside, Macedonia, it's got its own issues simmering, big time. Let's talk about the rulers and their traditions.
Right. The Kingdom of Solace. It's ruled by the ascended people like Duke and Duchess Tierman, Lord Mazine. And a cornerstone of their power is this ceremony called the Rite.
The Rite. This is where third sons and daughters are basically handed over to the gods for service.
Supposedly for service, yes. But it's really a brutal display of control, not just some religious custom.
And the emotional impact is huge. The sources really show that, like with the Tulis family begging for their son Tobias. Yeah, and the Duke's response is just chilling. Whether your first thrived or not doesn't change that your second son and now your third are fated to serve the gods. It shows this ingrained system of sacrifice, causing immense pain and, quiet resentment.
Which sounds like perfect breeding ground for unrest.
Exactly. You've got these whispers of insurrection growing louder, led by the dissenters. These are people who oppose the current Queen Ileana and King Jalara.
They think someone else should be in charge.
They believe Prince Castile, who gets called the Dark One, is the true heir.
The Dark One. Okay, and this isn't just talk, is it? They're implicated in actual violence.
Oh, yeah. The sources link the dissenters to mysterious deaths of royal guards, uprisings like in Three Rivers, the burning of Goldcrest Manor. It's described as a real powder keg. Political tension ready to explode.
And adding fuel to that fire are these really unsettling deaths. First, Finley in the Blood Forest.
Gruesome. Drained of blood, his flesh chewed up like wild dogs had a go at him, and then torn to pieces. That immediately signals something unnatural, something beyond normal predators.
But then it gets closer to home. Melissa Axton, found inside the castle walls.
Yeah, supposedly the safest place. And her death is different. 2 precise puncture wounds in her neck, completely drained of blood.
And the guards, Rylan and Victor, they know this isn't the usual threat, the Craven.
Right, they both say something like, "I've never seen anything like that." It points to a new threat, something unknown, right in the heart of the kingdom. It must make everyone incredibly nervous.
And right around this time, this new guard shows up, Hawk Flynn.
Perfect timing, or maybe not so perfect, depending on your perspective. He arrives from the capital, super skilled. Poppy runs into him under veiled circumstances at the Red Pearl.
And even though she's disguised, her gift picks up something from them.
Yeah, she senses his pain, described as raw and never-ending, like chips of sharp ice. A deep anguish.
So there's this immediate forbidden connection. It's tense, there's chemistry. How does he start to affect Poppy's very guarded life?
Well, Hawk seems to see her, beyond the veil, beyond the maiden role. He observes things. He doesn't treat her like this untouchable symbol, but like a person with hidden depth.
Which must be huge for her.
Absolutely. It starts validating those suppressed desires she has for freedom, for agency. This connection, forged in secret, becomes this powerful contrast to her isolated life, hinting that big changes are coming.
And boy, do they come. All these threads, the deception, the politics, the personal connection, they just explode during the...
Oh, chaos. The castle's attacked violently. It's an invasion involving the dissenters, but maybe other forces too. It's not just a skirmish. It's a full-on assault. Devastating.
And the losses are incredibly personal for Poppy.
Heartbreakingly so. Rylan, the friendly guard, is killed, and then Victor, her protector, her trainer, he dies defending her.
And Poppy isn't passive in this. She fights back.
Fiercely. There's this raw moment where she uses her dagger and then wipes the blade on Rylan's breeches. It's pure survival instinct. This event is the brutal turning point. It forces her out of the sheltered role completely. She's a survivor now.
Wow. Pause. Okay. So after that chaos, the ground completely shifts beneath her feet. The big reveal.
The biggest reveal. Hawk isn't Hawk. He's Prince Castile Daenerys.
The dark one.
The very same. And he's an Atlantean from a race they've always been taught are monstrous enemies.
And there's physical proof.
Oh, yes. The fangs come out. And his loyal companions, Kieran and Delano, they're revealed to be Wolven. It's a stunning, absolute betrayal. Everything Poppy thought she knew. Flipped upside down.
This is that foundational shift you mentioned. He doesn't just reveal himself, he offers a whole new version of reality.
A complete counter-narrative. It shatters her entire worldview. He tells her the Ascended, the one she was raised to revere, they aren't blessed by gods, they are vampires.
Vampires. Created by King Malik.
Exactly. He says they drink blood and become drunk with power, with strength and near immortality.
Okay, wait. So the Ascended are the monsters. They created the Craven. Those mindless creatures.
That's Castile's claim. He says the Ascended created the Craven by draining mortals, which explains why the Ascended cannot walk in daylight.
And the Right. Those third sons and daughters.
He claims they take them during the rite to feed upon, turning a sacred tradition into something horrific.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the Atlanteans, his people, how are they different in this version?
He paints them as distinct. They're harder to kill. They age slower. Crucially, they feed on other Atlanteans, not mortals, and have never created a Craven.
So a completely different kind of being.
And he adds another layer. The Ascended actually use Atlantean blood to ascend mortals like Poppy's own brother, Ian turning them into more vampires. It just rewrites everything. Monster becomes savior, savior becomes monster.
It's devastating.
Yeah.
But Castile didn't get close to her just to tell her the truth, did he? There was another motive.
Right. The other shoe drops. His primary reason for getting close to her, for all of it, was to use her as ransom.
Ransom? For who?
To free his imprisoned brother, Prince Malik Daenerys. So after building this intense connection, this manipulation is revealed. Poppy's heart is described as just shattered.
A double betrayal. The identity lie, and then the emotional manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
How does she even cope?
It's incredibly complex. Because despite everything, the lies, the manipulation, the narrative makes it clear there's still this undeniable connection between them.
Even after all that.
Yeah. Remember that encounter in the Blood Forest? Sharing blood, healing wounds? It created this deep, almost primal bond.
And she admits it herself, doesn't she? Something like she still cared for him, even though she wanted to hate him.
Exactly. Even after the first betrayal, I still cared for him. Even though I wanted to hate him, I needed to hate him, but I couldn't. It shows her resilience, maybe, or her ability to see complexity.
Or maybe just how deep that connection went.
Perhaps. Despite his actions, his understanding of her true self, his own visible pain. It creates this unexpected intimacy that she struggles to deny because it fulfilled that deep yearning she had for genuine connection.
So her world is totally inverted. But we see Poppy changing, evolving through all this trauma and revelation.
Massively. She goes from being this caged and veiled maiden to actively reclaiming herself. There's this powerful realization she has.
What's that?
I deserve to live and to exist without being cloistered by rules I never agreed to. That's her turning point for agency. Demanding training, defying norms. It's about her defining her own worth.
Which must be incredibly difficult mentally. Reconciling that the saviors are monsters and the captor Castile is the one offering, well, a version of truth and maybe freedom.
It's immense, a total deconstruction of her identity. She has to wrestle with this huge cognitive dissonance, questioning every belief. The story shows her navigating this morally gray world where the lines are just completely blurred. It's less about external battles and more about that internal reevaluation.
And then, just to make things even more complicated, there's this hint that Poppy herself might not be fully human.
Right. Another layer. Castile suggests she might be part Atlantean. He speculates that her gift, her being the chosen, might come from a mortal crosses paths with an Atlantean nature takes.
Wow. So her power might be lineage, not divinity. How does that change things for her?
It's a potential game changer. It shifts her from being this passive chosen one to someone whose very blood could rewrite history. It makes her question her identity, her purpose, her loyalties all over again. Who is she really?
So by the end of this part of the story, Poppy's future is completely up in the air.
Totally uncertain. She's been summoned to the capital, but now she's traveling with Castile, leaving everything she knew behind. She's forced to redefine herself, identity, purpose, loyalty in this world that's way more complex and dangerous than she ever dreamed.
She's shedding that old self, stepping into a massive unknown.
Absolutely. She's not the naive maiden anymore. She's a survivor. She's seeking path, and she might be a key player in this huge ancient conflict. Her journey becomes about embracing these really uncomfortable truths and forging her own path, redefining what chosen even means.
So we've journeyed through this world where, faith is a weapon, power is literally a thirst for blood, and the lines between hero and villain are just gone. We've seen Poppy's transformation.
Yeah, from that cloistered maiden to this woman wrestling with just unimaginable truths, trying to find her way through the wreckage of all these ancient lies.
What From Blood and Ash really seems to unpack is how these grand narratives, these systems of power, can be built on absolute deception.
Exactly. Poppy's journey shows that real awakening often means questioning the things you hold most sacred. It kind of reminds us that sometimes the monsters are just the ones telling a different story, one that's maybe more inconvenient.
So it leaves you thinking. In a world where the monsters wear crowns and the supposed dark one is the one dropping truth bombs, what does being worthy actually mean? And if your own blood might be the key to rewriting history, who do you pledge loyalty to? In a world that's literally woven from blood and ash.
That's the question, isn't it? Definitely something to chew on long after this deep dive ends.